Good evening and welcome to Star Fury Facebook Live. Sorry we're a bit late because normally I have Joe helping me do this. Unfortunately, Joe is unavailable to help tonight because Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina has just all gone up on Netflix, so she's not available for 10 hours. So I had to teach myself today how to use this system, and I started it before and I was talking with Jonathan and suddenly I realized I actually hadn't turned it on to go live properly. But we're live now, Star Fury Facebook Live, and tonight is a special New Year's Eve edition. We're going to be chatting with Jonathan Woodward first, and then at 9 o'clock we've got a Star Wars quiz, which you could win some prizes. But as we all know, we're in a pandemic at the moment. We haven't had any Star Fury events this year. 2021 is the first year since Star Fury started in 1998 that we haven't had a single Star Fury event this year, but we have had numerous Facebook Live events. We did a convention, a virtual convention for the launch of Juliet Landau's film. We've held numerous quizzes. We've interviewed a whole pile of actors on Facebook Live. We've pretty much tried to keep it free for the fans to give you something to keep you going during COVID-19. Just before we start, I always like to say a quick thank you to everybody who has been working so hard during this pandemic to keep us all going, all the frontline workers, all the people working in the hospitals, the doctors, the nurses, the ambulance drivers, all the frontline staff, all the emergency service workers, and all the people who have to work in stores and shops and supermarkets that have kept us going during this pandemic. Also feel it's New Year's Eve. We want to have some fun. We want to get rid of 2020, celebrate the new year, get ready to have some conventions for next year. And what better way than to do that than to bring in Jonathan Woodward.
Hello.
So Jonathan, I see you have wine. What kind of wine do you have?
I do. Today I'm going to be ringing in the new year with a Marlborough County Sauvignon Blanc by Kim Crawford.
Oh.
It's peachy, mineral, it's delightful. It's a step above the usual swill that I get into. And I would like to say Happy New Year to you, Sean, Harry.
Happy New Year.
Christmas.
Now I'm going to be celebrating New Year with this, and
Very
also
nice.
with this.
Oh, good.
So I'll be celebrating New Year with these two.
You know, I remember when we first met, Sean. You didn't drink, and I did all of that drinking. And it's nice to know that in the 20 years that have gone by, we've switched roles.
Well, that's what getting to know you has done to me.
Well, to that end, I would like to also just raise a glass because, as Sean just pointed out, you're a man. I have been the only live, in-person, actual Star Fury guest for the entire year of 2020, and I think that really sums up the whole year.
Yeah, it hasn't been. I'm a bit worried about next year because this year's 2020 and next year could be referred to as 2021.
Oh, like as in +1? Great.
Or as in one.
I think everybody's just, just the first day. I've also organized a really, really delicious sushi meal for me.
Oh, that's nice.
So we can all eat together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want sushi spilled out of my mouth, which I know everybody's looking forward to on New Year's.
Wanted to say thanks for the Christmas card. Got
Thank
2
you.
Christmas cards off you this year. You sent me. You forgot to send me last year's, so you sent me this year and you sent me last year's as well.
A little bit misleading, Sean, because in fact, I asked you for your address last year and you said,
Yeah.
hell no, I'm not giving you that. You're going to pitch up. So I saved it.
Yep.
I figured I'd bring it to you eventually, but as it turns out, fate had other things in store.
It did.
That was a bit of a misery. You look really well. I love that
Thank you.
taken advantage of this time to do something truly spectacular with your hair.
Oh, you mean not have it cut? I have not been to a barber since February.
Fantastic. You know what we should do? Is the moment we get back on stage, you should let somebody shave it.
I'm thinking of having it braided. I'm going to go for a kind of like a Viking look.
Oh, that's a really good idea. I mean,
Yeah.
halfway there. Let's be honest.
I know. I'm getting the Viking beard there as well. So I'm going to go for the whole Ragnar Lothbrok look.
The only thing that depresses me is that we can't enjoy this conversation with all of the people who are. It looks like Ashley's worried about your hair.
Yep.
Looks like Kat has got some prosecco.
Can see Rari there, Harminder, Mary, Scott.
Oh man, it's so good to have everybody join. This is great. I'm really pleased to be here.
I always recognize whenever I see Scott on Facebook because he's just posts pictures of Alicia, Deb, and Carey.
Oh, fascinating.
Who else can I see? I can see Amy.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to give it a prize later to whoever comes up with the best Viking name for Sean.
Okay.
Talk. So, Grizzly Haddams is, I'm sorry, far too American, but I totally agree with, I'm getting pinged on the celly phone. I'm going to hire a car with jelly babies in your honor tonight. Hear from you, Nicola. Love you. I have brought this year's set of tarot cards. I thought we'd do Sean's fortune for next year, and whoever else writes in. And Sean, I was thinking this year was going to be such an epic year for fortune telling for Destiny that like I got in touch with George's, our old friend George Janshi.
Yep.
I said, George's, here's the idea. I'm going to run a Kickstarter, and I want you to design me 72 tarot cards featuring your favorite Star Fury heroes in various arcana. And we'll just run a Kickstarter. And I don't think he took me seriously. It's a hell of an idea. And I mean, it is 72 plates from a well-regarded artist, which even if you were scraping the barrel on bargain basement prices, we're still looking at about $30,000 for for just the plates alone. So that's an idea in the works. Just working on that. Maybe I'll get like 5 new cards every year.
Oh my God! Somebody, Tony Buffton has compared me with Brian Blessed.
You're sort of like the albino Brian Blessed. I'll give her that.
Are you aware of Brian Blessed in America?
Yeah, we know Brian Blessed.
Right.
I mean, we all saw it, Flash Gordon.
Yeah, he's a big celebrity here in the UK.
He's got a big mouth.
So, how have you been coping with lockdown Christmas?
Well, I put on 30 pounds. Lockdown Thanksgiving involved me. I don't know if anybody saw it, buying a tomahawk steak. I don't go out. I'm in New York. I'm a little bit paranoid, but I haven't gotten sick. I just know I'm going to be one of the guys that they have to stick a tube down his throat. You know, high blood pressure, a lot of clean living. Takes a lot of living to get to look like this in your old age. You know, I am 32 in these days. John Favreau looks worse. He's also making more money, though. But in all honesty, things have been going pretty well for me this year. I have been producing up a storm. I've got a really exciting new project to announce. That's, I've been doing journalisms for quite a long time and working with Religion News Service, and working with Google and Solutions Journalism and all this. But I do have sort of an alternate track of doing audio fiction. And, it hasn't been announced yet, but I feel good because we've signed all the papers and such, is that the Elfquest comic book, the series of Elfquest.
By Wendy Peeney, wasn't it, who did Elfquest?
Yeah, it's this one.
No, I know that. I used to read that.
This is a fantastic comic. I used to dig around in my brother's closet and read this. It's one of this and Watchmen were the only comics I read as a kid. And now we're going to make the audio podcast out of it.
Wow.
With full dispensation and the blessings of the Peenies, whom I've met. They're very lovely. And I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun thing for the new year.
Well, make sure you let us know as soon as you're doing that, and we'll help promote it. I'm sure we get all the support from the Star Fury crowd as well.
love to do that. I've reached out to a group called the Fantasy Network, which everybody may or may not know about, and
Mhm.
they're going to help us. But the Peonies, they really wanted it made, so their support really mattered a lot, and it's going to be great. It's going to be really great. I'm working with a fantastic director who does really great work, and the production team is phenomenal. I'm really really excited about this one. It's the first fiction thing that I've done in years after having been kicked out of Hollywood all that long ago.
Now, I asked for some questions
Very good.
from Star Fury crowd, and we got one question from Abbas, who lives in Manchester, and they wanted to know, what was your very first paid acting role?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. Excuse me while I burn through this sushi. This was a bad idea. I don't know. I thought we would be having this sort of fireside chat, and I would be able to.
I haven't had sushi since it was on my last night in Vancouver last February.
Vancouver has the best sushi in the entire world.
Well, it's fantastic.
Hang on, maybe Japan. Okay.
I've had sushi in Tokyo as well.
Really? What I wouldn't give. Where were we?
You're going to tell us all about your very first paid acting role.
Right. My very first paid acting role was, well, it depends on what you're calling first paid acting role, frankly, because some things sort of qualify where they buy you lunch and some things don't. But I was at NYU. I had done this, that, and the other thing, but I needed to take a year off of NYU just to get my sort of what the hell is going on anyway. So it turns out the mayor of Aspen, Colorado, I called him up and asked him for his advice. He said, you know what you should do? You should go to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival and hang out there. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I got in my car. I spent a month crossing the country, visited a lot of friends, got to Ashland, Oregon, started working in the box office, and just about 3 months in, I got a call from this woman, an English woman who lived in Portland, Maine, and was had a little theater company called Vintage Rep, and they were doing a Joe Orton play called Entertaining Mr. Sloan. Right? And she said, "Can you make it for an audition next week?" I said, "I can make it in 2 weeks." So I packed up the car. I had moved in. I had an apartment. I put everything in the car, and I drove all the way to the back across the country for an audition to be Mr. Sloan, and I got it.
Oh.
And luckily, I got paid $250 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it really set me on the road to ruin, frankly. It was still one of my favorite roles I ever got to play. With an atrocious English accent, I might add.
Well, I hope your English accent's a bit better now. You've spent quite a bit of time over here.
Regressing, Sean. I really do.
So what do you prefer? As an actor, what would you prefer? Do you prefer working on film and television, or do you prefer working in theater?
Well, I really like theater. I miss theater. If I miss anything, it's theater. If I'm honest, I had panic attacks every time they said action. And the last time I did some TV, I had a really hard time remembering my lines. I was really nervous. You only get one shot at it. And I really loved going into a room every day and doing it over and over and over and over and over until you know exactly what you do. And then you go start into the run of the show, and you get to do that over and really just refine it. Every beat, every look, every glance, every sneeze, every joke. It was the fun part was refining it time and time again. So I never really clicked with film and TV because of that, I think.
Now, we've got a question here from Sarah Hooper from Birmingham. Hello, are you there, Sarah? And Sarah wants to know, it's a very serious question, this, so you've got to put your mind to it. If you were a Christmas decorator... You're terrible at swallowing, Jonathan.
Everything's great. Don't mind me ruin your joke while I'm dying.
Okay, now Sarah needs to know.
Okay.
If you were a Christmas decoration, which decoration would you be and why?
Well, I got an answer to that. Shall I go get the decoration from my tree that I would be?
Absolutely.
All right, you're right.
So Jonathan's off to get the decoration. You can see Sarah in the chat room as well. Well, the message room. Hello, Leanna.
Okay, I brought 3.
Okay. You were thorough.
I am thorough. I hope you were looking for a very, very well considered answer when you asked this question. So, number 1 is I would be Admiral Lord Nelson.
Oh, wow. Now that's a Christmas decoration.
Right? And
Yep.
this one, I got this when my son and I went to HMS Victory, and it was, I don't know, like September, and they start flogging these things pretty quick. But he got me this, and he said, you need to have this for your Christmas tree. And every year I've been trying, every stinking year, I've been trying to get him interested in, like, let's do a really, really, like family thing where we'll buy an ornament every year. It'll be our special thing. And of course, I'm all over this, but he could care less. He doesn't give a shit. He's 6. He's 8 now. But he finally came around on Admiral Lord Nelson. So we've got that one. Number 2 ornament I would be is this one. And this is my sticker that I got for voting this year. And I put it in my tree because this is what I wanted Christmas to bring. Because don't forget, like a month ago, it was still kind of gross. So I hope to turn this into an ornament of some kind. But this is the year. This is the year I voted in 2020 to.
Was that the first time you voted?
Well, I didn't actually vote. I mugged a guy for this, but the idea is the same. Is that this vote was important. I voted a lot of things. I voted for bond municipal sort of issuance. I voted for propositions. I voted for referenda. I voted for local, state, municipal, county judges, but none of them mattered more than this one. But I think the ornament that I would be, were I to be an ornament, is the one that sat on the very top of my tree and looked like this. Confused?
Is it just a hand?
The tree. It's phenomenally creepy. Oh goodness, Sean, I like what you're saying there. No, that's an interesting point, Sean. I hadn't actually. It's better if I come down here. So, excuse me. I'm just gonna.
It is bizarre. I will have to try a severed hand on top of my tree.
A severed hand, a severed mini hand on top of your
severed
tree.
Mini hand, yes. Maybe a severed fist.
Let's go to the chat to see what her answer for what would she be. Shall we see if she has one?
Yes, Sarah, we need to know what you would be if you were a Christmas decoration.
Haha, the best answers. There may be a delay, so I'm going to return to that.
Yes. Well,
there's so many for you to choose from.
I'm trying to think if I was a Christmas decoration. I'd like to be the wreath on a door welcoming everybody.
Look at you. You answered seriously. That's very
sweet.
Yeah. It's not technically an ornament, but I think we'll give you a pass.
Now, we had a question from...
The microphone is very far away. Hang on. Is that better?
Oh, it's much better. Yes.
Okay, good.
We can't see you though, but we can hear you, which I think is a good trade-off.
A lot of people have really been satisfied with my drift into audio-only production.
We have I don't know if Rari. I don't know if you know Rari from my events, but he says if he was a Christmas decoration, he'd be the child from the Mandalorian. That's not really a Christmas decoration. That's a toy.
It can be a cricket. All you got to do is tie a little.
I suppose.
Make a little hook come off his head. Oh, now that is the nicest thing you could say about. Like, let's take a minute because I'm reading all these articles right now about like all of the horrible.
Have you
Here's a
have
list
you
of shitty things that happened this year.
have you watched the latest season of The Mandalorian?
I have left the final episode for tonight, as a matter of fact.
Well, I kind of feel that if I was somebody from Mandalorian, not from the films, but I would be Boba Fett from the television series, because kind of like during lockdown, I'm physically getting like him. He's not Boba Fett, he's Dad Bod Fett.
Yeah, I'm that guy too, frankly. Yep. It's kind of...
We can compare waistlines when we next see each other.
I'll be John Favreau. You can be Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Or I maybe would want to be Werner Herzog.
Oh,
Gina Carano.
Fitzcarraldo, one of my favorite films.
He is magnificent. The way he acts.
I met Gina Carano many years ago at a party, and she was very sweet and big.
She is just such a badass. It's great. It's great casting. It's great awesomeness. I dig it.
I had a question. Do you remember Lena from my events? Yeah. She does German porn. Lena from Munich. But we're going to probably do this anyway, but I just thought let you know that she did request it. Okay. She said that you do tarot readings for attendees, and she wants you to do an impromptu reading for me for 2021.
All right, Sean, I'm going to be flipping through the cards, and what I want you to do is say stop when we get to the card that most adequately represents you. This is a card that I picked as specifically streamlined for this kind of venue. And they're art oracles. So each one of these cards is going to be a very specific artist. That way, we're not going to get into an old Iron Cross or all of the other ones. It's just one card wonder. You can either have your destiny, your 2021, or who you are as a person wrapped up right here in these art.
I'll take my destiny. I know who I am as a person. I'll take my destiny for 2021. Stop.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. I'm sort of like, okay, I'm not going to make a cheap joke, but do you know what? In order to adequately, because this guy, I know a lot of these guys, but I don't know every single one of them. How am I going to look this up? Okay, so what's funny is that the answer is Jean Cocteau. He is
Orphe in the Underworld.
Exactly. He is also a prize of the theatrical set.
Yes.
I also think it's funny because it's got the word cock in it. And let me read you what your answer is. An avant-garde playwright, poet, and director, Jean Cocteau loitered with the creative elites of 20th century Paris. I think that fares well for you. Earning a reputation of being fabulous company, he collaborated with composers and artists and self-medicated with opium as needed. Throughout his life, Cocteau was haunted by his father's suicide in 1898. Let's move past that. Themes on a sad childhood appear in works of his, such as Les Enfants Terribles, about two troubled siblings. His play, Les Voix Humaines, The Human Voice, involves one woman speaking by phone to her soon-to-be ex, who is never heard. Along with Picasso, loneliness and miscommunication were Cocteau's lifelong friends. Well, that's a little grim, but let's see what we can't do to interpret that. You know, this guy is, in addition to being revered through the ages, he's got three sort of, overarching themes that are intended to this card. And there is one that is sticking out. One is there's no such thing as a happy ending, which I think as a consumer of all culture, I think you know very well that the ones without a happy ending stand out as being, Firefly comes to mind. And the advice to find your future in your past, which I think you have always managed to do. But this is your 2021. That's what we're solving.
Yeah.
Oh, well, your future is Star Fury, Sean. That's what I'm pulling off of this. If your future is in your past, you're going to be bringing people together, celebrating really awesome stuff for the rest of your days. And I guarantee you I will be there every New Year's Eve, no matter what.
Okay, then. So I have to say I do not mind having a Jean Cocteau card.
I think that's a good one.
Certainly an artist I respect. We got a question from Liz Woodman. Liz Woodman, she's from Devon, and she says, working on Buffy and on Angel and on Firefly, who out of the cast pulled the best pranks?
There were very few pranks on Buffy. I believe a cappuccino machine broke at one point, and that was much less of a prank and more of an incident that stopped production for a moment so that we could all talk about it loudly. I wasn't involved with that conversation, but there you have it. So then on Angel, pranking was it was season 5 of Angel, and pranking was really sort of underdone. There was J. August Richards shining as a beacon, though. J. August Richard, he was a little different. He didn't prank so much as he did tricks. Like at one point, I was really proud that I'd hit a mark. I want you to do this. From now on, when you watch television, watch how many times people start their conversations like this. Right? They walk, they look down, they look up. And they walk to the spot they were told to walk to, they look down and they look up. That's actors checking their marks.
Hitting your mark.
They're very bad at it because they always try to act their way through, making sure they're in the right spot. And they try to cover it up by a moment of thinking, right? So as I was saying, and at one point I was really excited about hitting a mark, without really having looked at it. I used peripheral vision, quote unquote. And Sean was like, what? I mean, Jay. He was seated behind a desk, right? Because he'd taken performance-enhancing drugs, and now he's a super lawyer or something. And he's like, okay, where's your mark? And I pointed to it on the floor. He said, fine. And he sat down in his chair, and he closed his eyes, stood up from his chair, walked around the desk with his eyes closed, walked all the way to the spot that I was supposed to be standing, turned around, faced him, and then opened his eyes.
Jay's a professional.
He could have been fucking with me. He might have, been squinting, but I still think it was pretty righteous. And then I think everybody knows that Nathan was the guy that wanted nothing more than to land a sick prank, and he was really good at it. And I only had 4 or 5 days of shooting.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I think that means you must have spent more days at Firefly conventions than you did on set.
That is true. I always wonder what Josh thinks of that. And then I go back to sleep.
Now, Josh, Amna from Middlesbrough wants to know, what has been the best thing to help you through this COVID pandemic? This is what gets me through the COVID pandemic.
Well, I would like to say that true, but I'm getting a bit of a reputation, and I'd really
getting.
Okay. What's been getting me through the pandemic has been Zoom calls. I really like them. Everybody's tired of them, and I am too.
This time last year, nobody knew what Zoom was.
Right.
This pandemic has been the biggest advertisement for Zoom.
And their stock price reflects that. I miss people. I miss everybody. I feel like in my life I'm notoriously cagey. Like I don't go out and see the people when I can. I'm late to getting to things, and I've left you, Sean, waiting for me with a drink in a hotel bar.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my God, man, I'm furiously texting. No, I swear I'm almost there. But I don't think I'll ever be so cavalier about how wonderful it is to hang out with people ever again. This is, it's like at the end of A Christmas Carol, where the joy of the milk of human kindness is so wonderful to be around. So I've been doing a lot of cooking. I have hung out a lot with my family. I've driven to Maine a lot of times. I lived there for a while. And I've just been throwing myself into work, and it's been paying off. So I'm not broke anymore. It's kind of nice.
Right, next question from Sarah Hooper in Birmingham again. And she wants to know, another serious question, would you rather have a parrot's beak instead of your mouth, or only to be able to talk like a parrot?
Well, the beak, right? Because without the beak, you're just some dickhead in a bar chirping and whistling and repeating things that people say. That's no good. But having the beak, I mean, think of the sales opportunities. Think of the Cameo. Oh, right. I'm on Cameo.
Are you on Cameo?
I'm on Cameo due to
Oh my goodness.
absolutely no interest in me being on Cameo. I am now on Cameo. And I want to be clear, absolutely nobody has been asking for me to be on Cameo. And yet
I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna promote the fact you're on Cameo.
I am on the Cameo, and due to encouragement from all quarters, I have been advised that for anyone who is watching tonight, I made it the lowest price that you can make anything. So dial up a Cameo and get your whole year's done. I will tell your kid happy birthday, happy Valentine's Day, happy Arbor Day, happy VE Day, happy VJ Day, happy all of the days. In fact, if you want to dial up all of them, I'll do them and discount them, because I think it's on the absurd side of absurd. But as an exciting launch in, I think I'm going to go with $1.99 Cameos from now through the end of January 1st. Anything you want. Oh, and please, I guess it's important to leave a review. But what I really want you to come and watch, listen to Elfquest.
David Ford, whoever he may be, has just suggested that I should start doing cameos.
Oh, you should, especially with that getup. All right, you're going to pick for David Ford.
Go for David. Good old David. Right. Stop.
Woo! Somebody hit the big time.
Oh, Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci. And I tell you, Mr. David Ford, your mission for 2021 is, this is your quote, "I am not a Renaissance man. I'm a Renaissance man. Dissect what makes us human and look into research like you would a crystal ball." That is your fortune cookie wisdom for 2021. I give that to you. You are Leonardo da Vinci.
Don't know if you've met David at my event, but he runs the registration desk.
Sure. All friends. He came to my third wedding. He officiated.
Oh God, you sounded like Mark Shepard. Third wedding, you sounded like Mark Shepard.
No kidding, right?
Right. Jules Harley in Brighton wants to know, what was it like playing Tracy in Firefly, a character that seems to go through at least 4 separate moods in one episode? What was the most exciting mood to play?
Well, you know, they gave me a gun in that episode, and they never gave me a gun. And at no point during that episode did I wear a lab coat. Also important to know. I think the most fun was holding a gun up. And I just don't believe in that sort of thing. I really don't. But as far as like moods go, there's that scene where everybody's sitting around a dining room table in a spaceship. And I don't know what words to use to call that mood, but that's my favorite mood. For sure.
Got something to show you.
Tell me.
People talking of moods. Here's this great toy I have of Black Widow. And you press on her head and she has a different mood.
Oh, I love that.
And she has 3 moods, which is at least 2 more moods than the actress in the films is able to actually convey.
That's a really well set up joke, Sean. I am very impressed. Well done, you. Well done, Sean.
Christopher John has just messaged us a Happy New Year from Wales. Happy New Year to all the Welsh, to all our Welsh buddies.
Cymraeg. or something.
We've also had somebody requesting Katrina Balfe for the next Outlander convention, whenever that may happen. Katrina is very welcome back at any Star Fury event. She's a lovely lady. It was very nice to work with. Have you watched Outlander yet?
I haven't watched Outlander yet.
It's a really good show.
My turn? Okay. I'll write that down. Do you know what actually has gotten me through the pandemic?
What?
Notebooks and lists.
Wow.
So many notebooks and lists that it's getting a little absurd. And I have a whole piece of furniture for all of my notebooks and lists. But I'm really going
Wow.
for it. I've got special stamps that I use. I've got different colors of ink. I've got all kinds of Post-it notes. I really go to town on this one. This one's the week. This one's individual project. This one's the day-to-day. We've got this one over here. This is the one that I make notes in for episodes that launch. This is the one that I use exclusively for Christmas. So that one gets a lot of action. And that's all I got. But, I burned through them. Yeah, it's the notepads. The notepads got me through. That and this desk that I get to stand at.
Wow.
These are all
For me, the pandemic has all been about Netflix and my PlayStation.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm having a hard time focusing on television with the enthusiasm that I used to. I think sitting down is just something I've just we've all done it so much this year. I installed the garbage disposal last week. That was exciting.
I got rid of the other week a wasp's nest in the attic.
Very nice. All of these little things that just sort of were mundane. Now they're like these events. I ironed this shirt this morning.
Oh, I got myself a dryer that does that gets creases out for you, so none of my stuff needs ironing.
Is that really a thing?
It works.
Does it?
Yeah. Alison, we have an Alison Lloyd in the message room, and she wants to know: are you going to be at the Vampire Ball next year?
Assuming the world hasn't exploded in a fiery inferno, I will. Well, Grace is our host.
I kind of think now that we have the vaccine out there, by next November, I think we should be back to normal, shouldn't we?
I feel like we're on track.
Yeah,
and I really hope so, because I've actually I've been thinking about this quite a lot. And the next time, should I be so lucky as to be at another Star Fury event, I have planned out, instead of that moment when Sean introduces everybody and you can always tell sort of where you're at in your life by what number you are in the introductions. Like if you're if you're the last guy, then you're J. August or Nathan or James Marsters, and life is grand. But I've been holding down those first 2 or 3 slots for a long time. So I wanted to say that the next time I am fortunate enough to come out on and introduce myself at the beginning of an event as number 1, I've decided to do a musical number. A short one.
Well, Jay usually does a musical number.
Really? What does he do?
Something rap.
He raps all these years?
They play some kind of heavy ghetto music, and he comes on.
I don't mean play music. I mean, I'm going to do a great song and dance for everybody. And I know everyone, it's like Cameo. Absolutely nobody has been waiting for this moment.
It's funny when you say about the number of where you are in the opening ceremony, because I'm shocked at how at times, and I'm not sure I should say this publicly because this isn't something attendees are aware of, but you'd be amazed at the arguments and some of shouting matches which have gone on backstage over where an actor goes in the opening ceremony.
Really?
Most of them don't care, but you always have some people who get really very funny on where they are at the opening ceremony.
I have, of course, never been faced with a moment where I had to defend my top slot. But I will say that when you end up backstage at a Sean Harry event, as I have for almost 2 decades. How many decades, Sean?
I think your first event was 2004.
It was
at the
Room,
White
right?
Room. Yeah, no, yeah, the White Room, 2004.
So 2024 will be Johnny Con. I will be 51.
Yep.
So anyway, ever since then, I've always felt that it is a moment that you can't ignore, you can't get away from, and Sean's just going to tell it like it is, man. He's like, this year you're number 6, this year you're number 1, and this year you're up to 4. Well done. And this year you're back to 1 again.
I do remember, what was it, the other year at one of the Destiny conventions? You'd never said anything to me in the past, but you turned up at that year's Destiny and you were on the badge.
Yes.
And you were so excited by that.
My God.
You still have it.
I can put my
And it's a good picture of you as well.
It is a good picture. That's like one of a million. That's actually a good picture. No, of all the things that one could save from the shenanigans at Star Fury conventions, that badge, that was genuinely a nice moment. That made me feel good. Wow.
It would always be funny at the L Word conventions when I did a convention on the TV show, the L Word, and we would have different badges with different actresses on it, and some attendees would get really upset and quite emotional based on which actress they had on their badge.
Ooh, really?
Because if it wasn't the actress that they had a crush on, they would get really angry about it.
I really hate this analogy, but it's like when you go to McDonald's and you don't get the right toy in your Happy Meal.
Yes.
It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to judge people. But
you know, it's funny when you mention Happy Meals. Whenever I think of McDonald's, I do usually think of like 2:00 in the morning at a Destiny convention at the Renaissance, and you realize you haven't eaten, and the only place that is open at that point is McDonald's.
I know it's horrendous and so true. And you know what's weird is that it wasn't until just this last Destiny that I knew there was that miraculous pub.
Yeah.
I always thought when people were going to this pub, like in the early years, Sean, there was this pub right on the Old Bath Road that looked like it's just never a place that you would ever want to go. And it's not the Pheasants. It's not the Three Pheasants, but that place was wonderful. It was so amazing. I can't believe that had been kept from me all these years. There's also the Chinese food place is gone, and I loved that place. That place was very special. They had very big aquariums.
Well, there's a new Chinese place, but yeah, I always used to remember when we would go to that Chinese place for dinner, and because we would get there after the closing ceremony, we get there about 10:00. They would be angry at me turning up, about to spend $1,000 on a meal there,
and yet,
and she would yell. The waitress there would yell at me.
Is it so hard? Is it so hard?
Every time I went there, we would walk in the door and she'd start yelling at me. It's 10:00. Well, we nearly shut. What are you doing here? But there was this one year we turned up. I had done a Prison Break event, and we walked through the door. She goes, "It's you again. It's 10:00. What are you doing?" "Oh my God, it's Teabag. It's Teabag from Prison Break." And she literally starts worshipping Robert Nepper, and we actually got good service there for once.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who is that enthusiastic about getting a tea bag.
That was a character from a TV series called Prison Break, played by Robert Nepper.
Don't ruin my joke. I remember the show. Oh, Lena's telling me it's the White Horse and the Pheasant. It was the White Horse.
Yes, the White Horse. Yes,
one on the Old Bath Road.
I've eaten at the White Horse. The White Horse is the one that's pretty much actually next door almost to the Renaissance. It's actually on the motorway. I didn't have a problem with that. I prefer the Pheasant, but the White Horse is okay. I mean, I could eat at the White Horse.
All right. Well, Lena, for having the right answer, you're going to get to your fortune told here at our Destiny event. Sean, I want
So
you
I'll
to tell.
channel Lena. Stop.
Ooh, this is an interesting one. This one is very suited. You get. This is your 2020. Ready? Piet Mondrian. I mean, look at the order. Look at the satisfying places where there are straight lines, zero chaos, and here's
very strict,
right? It's strict, but it's also orderly. For the love of God, it's like a spreadsheet. And
very Germanic.
It's just definitely, well, it's totally Teutonic, but it's nothing like 2020. Logic should come from the heart. True simplicity takes a lot of concentration, and find utopia in a straight line. Lena, I would do anything for that kind of 2021.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Fingers
Got a question from Sophie here. She wants to know, if you were a cookie, what type of cookie would you be and why?
Well, first of all, bravo for not saying biscuit. If I were a cookie, I would certainly be ginger spice molasses cookie with an orange zest glaze over the top. Fresh with an ice cold cup of full fat. What do you think?
I'd eat that cookie.
I'd eat that cookie. Sean, if you're a cookie, I'd eat that cookie. Who's next? Oh, look. 3 magpies next to the wren. Helen O'Hara wants some porn, apparently.
Well, she got to ask Lena for that. Lena provides the porn.
Hang on a sec. One moment. If I'm not mistaken, yes, I thought so.
Yeah.
I was alerted to this. Helen, I was alerted to this. I'm just going to load more comments. Word got around, Helen, about your haircut. And I got to just say, bravo. Brav the fucking O. That is a haircut and a half. Back in November, updated her profile picture with, oh my gosh, I don't know why that's playing. Anyway, Helen, I love your haircut, baby. Looks great. It's magnifico.
Sounds like you reversed the video. Haircuts, that's something I miss.
Oh, what else do you miss, Sean?
Haircuts, restaurants.
I miss restaurants.
Going to the theater, going to the cinema. Certain stuff I can't really discuss on Facebook Live. Go the part, different people have different things for conventions. Certain people go to the conventions for the autographs and photos. For me, it's the parties and the socializing. So I really missed all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet it's been weird for you, Sean, this year. I bet it's been totally weird.
Oh, yeah.
Gone this long without throwing somebody a party for how long?
Well, I said first off, you was in 98.
This is a super, super blow for Sharafi. I want to tell you, I'm so glad you got everybody back for Destiny. I'm sure it's a fraction of what would have been, except it's important to just, remember. I miss the same thing. I miss getting on a plane and seeing my kid. I miss people. I miss people a lot. I think I have to get a dog because I've started talking to myself.
Well, I think I've been lucky. One area I think I've been lucky with lockdown is I'm here with my family and my cats. So when I go for like months on end without socializing, the people, I'd worry if I was living on my own. That's where I always think, God, that must be tough at the moment.
I live on my own, and I got to tell you, I have now developed a very unhealthy relationship with your cats on Instagram because I just try to imagine what it's like to have any personality, any other personality wandering around the house with their needs and wants and desires, farting at me, glaring at me. And it looks like your cats are, really, really interesting, really personal.
They're very troublesome.
I love it.
They're Bengals, so they're kind of like they're very loud and crazy.
I almost adopted a dog last week.
Oh,
An old boy, 9 years old. And the day that I went to go visit him, they emailed me early and said he's been adopted.
Oh,
I know.
Well, at least he's found a home.
Well, that's what I said back in my email. Well, takeaway is yay for them, boo for me.
My friends Joe and Kirsty have been during this lockdown fostering they've been fostering rescue dogs and finding them new homes.
I know. Like they're rubbing it in my face at the Look at all our dogs. We've got all the dogs. You want
they have rabbits as well. I think they've forgotten about the rabbits.
Well, maybe the rabbits were eaten by the dogs.
Or the other way around.
Or the dogs were eaten by rabid rabbits. You don't hear often about rabid rabbits. Let's do Joe and Leslie, shall we?
Okay, Joe and Kirsty is Leslie is her surname. Kirsty is her wife. Okay, get the car. I will channel Joe.
I swear you to secrecy. Hang on. This is Joe and Kirsty. Somebody's going to have to report for them.
Stop.
Ooh, good one. I'm going to have to go to the book for this one too, just to make sure I got right. But the answer is Grayson Perry. I mean, look at her. She's cuckoo. Let's learn a little bit about Grayson Perry because I don't know her. I love this book. Okay. In 2003, Grayson Perry accepted the Turner Prize, important prize, dressed as a female second self, Claire, and congratulated the Electoral Committee on finally recognizing, in his words, a transvestite potter. The potter part is a tougher sell in the art world, where the craft is often the backdrop to a concept. Working deceptively traditional media such as ceramics and textiles, Perry uses techniques such as sgraffito and photographic transfers to address contemporary subjects. All serious stuff. His marriage to psychotherapist Philippa Perry is probably more boring than it sounds. And here are Joe and Kirsty's fortunes for this year. Scratch at the surface until your fingers bleed. Somebody's going to have to write this down and tell them. Meaning separates art from craft, and try something new the old-fashioned way. And I think we can all agree they're talking about sex.
Well, we'll forward the link for the video because Joe and Kirsty aren't, as I said, normally Joe actually runs the video behind the scenes. I had to learn how to do it myself today because Sabrina dropped online on Netflix and she's decided she wants to watch all 10 episodes.
She's gone, Daddy. I get it.
Yeah. We need you on a show like Sabrina so we can put you in more events.
I'm so ready to be on a show like Sabrina. I think I'd be a really good Sabrina.
I think you'd be an asset. I could see you in the cheerleader's outfit or in that red and black skirt with the cat.
For sure.
Yeah.
Men should be able to wear more skirts. A little known fact about my
it's so if you want to wear a skirt, it's socially acceptable now.
I have worn many kilts to your events, Sean.
Yeah.
But,
I do remember that homemade orange kilt you used.
And have nobody reach up underneath it.
I do remember that orange kilt, that homemade orange kilt you had.
That is a fab kilt. I think I have the only living picture of that kilt.
I'm sure there's more of them.
Hang on. I've got some I'll just be 1 second. Sean, just a moment.
Absolutely. So Jonathan has now disappeared and he's going to find pictures of his yellow kilt. If you were doing Star Fury events 10 or 15 years ago, you may remember that Jonathan used to wear a homemade orange kilt when he was at my events. And I don't think the kilt exists anymore, except for in memory or as photographic evidence. And Jonathan's going to get a photo for us so that we may be reminded of what that kilt was like. I myself, though, have never worn a kilt. I've wanted to, but I've never actually got round to getting one. And I take it he's looking very hard for that photo at the moment. So points like, here he comes.
It's the worst thing. I set that up, and I'm so sorry. I thought I had it. I don't know where.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I found a photo album. You remember photo albums?
I do remember them.
I found a photo album of me at one of your events from Long Path, and I had this magnificent gray blazer with this Western detailing like this, and I was wearing the orange kilt with a Western Texas belt buckle. Thinking, I mean, there were some good times. Do
you remember when I ran a convention in Scotland, and it was in Glasgow, and the two of us on the day before the convention were wandering around Glasgow trying to find cheap kilts, but every store we went to, the kilts were like £500 to £1,000, and we were like, have you got something around the £50 mark?
And they're like, no, maybe you want a fancy dress shop.
Yeah.
Get out. I guess the problem was doing that in Scotland, where I guess they take that sort of thing seriously.
Yeah.
But my brother owns now he owns like 2 or 3 Utilikilts.
Oh wow!
Including one in leather.
Utilikilts is something I was never aware of until I started going to DragonCon in Atlanta, and there's tons of people wearing Utilikilts at DragonCon.
Utilikilts are everywhere.
In America.
What's in America? Well put. Strange thing is that according to their website, Utilikilts were invented for people who work on roofs.
Yeah, I could believe that. Yeah.
Right? Because where else would you want to be in a kilt?
Get a nice breeze up there.
Yeah, you do. In fact, it's hot up there. You might want a little bit of ventilation, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, they're very popular at DragonCon.
Oh wait, look, my phone just pinged me because something on Cameo pinged me. Apparently, I turned on all the notifications. I got a review.
Oh, fantastic.
It was a 5-star review, and I haven't done anything yet. Please go and review this thing. Apparently, my entire self-worth will be wrapped up in this garbage.
Did you see it made the news over here? Who's that lady who was in the Tiger thing on Netflix?
Yes. Shall we Google her real quick?
I haven't watched it. What was that Tiger thing called?
Tiger King. There are a lot of people on this on the Tiger King, Murder and Mayhem. Oh, it's the lady who sued the guy from Tiger King. She's the
Does anybody here remember what was that Tiger show on Netflix? Carol Baskin. That's it. Thank you, Rari and Harminder.
Thank you, Harminder. Thank you,
and David. Carol Baskin.
David.
This was the best thing ever. Somebody got her to do a cameo in which she was saying happy birthday to Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris on behalf of all the children they've touched. So be careful of that kind of request.
That's not right, dude. That is not right. Here's
there you go. To all you guys listening at the moment, Jonathan Woodward, special deal. You book a cameo from Jonathan, and he will give you a greeting for every day of the week.
That's right. A Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got it.
All you have to do is give him a good 5-star review in return.
A 5-star review is, no, you don't have to guarantee it's a 5-star review. You can decide that you're not really pleased with the quality.
You know that Jonathan, we know that you will work to giving a 5-star performance in your cameo.
I will always. In fact, I think, I'll be honest with you, the opportunity that a cameo affords is mostly to be able to do very strange videos for people that I don't know. I think, and for people that I do know, because I don't know if you all managed to swing by my grocery karaoke hashtag that I'm desperately trying to get off the ground. Because I have this grocery store in my neighborhood, and it's open 24 hours a day, and I obviously find myself at that grocery store in the middle of the night around 2, and they've got the greatest music. They're playing Thompson Twins, they're playing all your 80s classics, they're Doctor My Eyes, all of this weird music, and I keep thinking I want to shoot a music video in this supermarket in the middle of the night. I want to be the Thompson Twins doing this. So I plan to make sure what got me to Cameo finally in the end was the idea that I could have a super lot of fun making very strange videos for Cameo. So you're guaranteed to have something weird come out the door. For instance, I will hide you in my sock drawer and discover both you and the socks. I don't know. Just you got to spin the wheel. You know what? I have never failed to deliver on something interesting to look at. You know what? Actually, that's not true. I've routinely failed to deliver on interesting, but I've always tried.
I think you've always been interesting.
Do you remember when
Sarah in here has suggested that you need Nick and Tina and Carson on these grocery visits?
There is no doubt that the grocery visits would be demonstrably improved with the presence of the very disapproving Nicola, the very enthusiastic Tina, and the very impassive Karsten.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking at you, Nicholas Scott. And a Frey Bentos and a pie tin, for sure.
It's kind of like this. It's nice to do this, but it's also a bit sad to be reminded all these names I'm seeing of people we would be spending right now together.
Yeah.
Well, we are spending it together, but it's virtually. It's just. I'm glad we've been able to do this, but I miss all you guys.
I miss you guys a lot too. I really do.
Yeah.
Sean and I have been talking about what we could possibly do for Destiny for a couple of months, because it just wasn't worth. It wasn't worth letting the pitch go by, like we don't want to let New Year's Eve go by without at least remembering that. I mean, we may have lost every single event for this year, but the one thing that I love about Star Fury is this one event every year that costs nothing, that Sean just throws a party for anybody who wants to go.
It does actually cost something. It just costs nothing for the attendees.
Well, that's what's magic about it. Sean shells out to make sure that everybody can come together and listen to the DJ and dance those extremely weird English line dances that I don't know if it's England or just Star Fury, but there's a lot of them. And you know what? I've got this other thing. I've been thinking about this. The next time we're all together, and I'm going to enlist a choreographer to help us with this in advance. But we must have one group line dance, something or another, that is only a Star Fury thing, that came from Star Fury, emerged from this broiling cauldron of fan weirdness and deep love, and we'll see how far it can go. We need a song, and I think it should be our own song, but that's a lot to ask. But we need our own dance, man. So let's take some nominations, maybe in the chat, Sean. Maybe we'll take some nominations in the chat for the right song that does not yet have a dance to it, that Star Fury can invent a dance.
Absolutely, yes. I'll have to start thinking on those songs.
Right? What song is that?
Back when I first started doing events, virtually every actor that I had from Babylon 5 or from Voyager or Deep Space, there was a big thing among all the actors back then to release an album of them singing on it. We don't get that anymore, thank God, from the actors.
If anybody wants one, I'm ready. I am so ready.
I could see the Johnny Wallet album.
I'm going to kickstart that tomorrow. That's going to launch 2021. In fact, let's take let's take the Johnny Wallet album fortune cookie instruction. Ready?
Stop.
Woo! Ooh, a good one. Another one I don't know.
I don't know them.
Kusama. Your soul is composed of as the same dots as the universe. I know this artist. She's magnificent. Lots of dots. Distinguish yourself from your mirror image.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that have a lot to say about this era of Zoom where we're all always looking at a mirror image of ourselves? And then show them your hallucinations. Okay, you heard it here, folks. I'm releasing an album in 2021.
Jonathan Woodward's best drinking songs. Owen Boyle is requesting.
Oh, God. Owen Boyle. Yeah, okay. There'll be a drinking song in there. There will be one super awesome drinking song.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to work I'm going to search high and low for the correct drinking song. But I think what we should do, and we
should ask Jimmy about that one.
Yeah, right? Remember what happened to Jimmy. I think the last time I saw him was the time that album 2021.
Yeah.
Taking some notes. A drinking song.
Uh-huh. A line dancing song.
Line dancing song.
A slow romantic song.
Oh, a slow jam. So that robot in the corner that you've been hoping to get a slow dance with all weekend long. A slow jam is critical. So the drinking song, what I'd like to do is I'd like to crowdsource the drinking part and the drinking song part. So like in a drinking song that you hear on an album, every time you get to the chorus that everybody drinks together with and sings together with, I'm gonna email everybody at Star Fury and tell you exactly what to record, and I will fold it into the mix. That will be brilliant. All right, accepting nominations in the chat for Shatner Rocket Man. No. All right, Mushroomage. All right, Sass.
I met Shatner last year. He was miserable.
Not the Thompson twins, Nicholas Scott says.
Yeah.
Ain't no party like a Star Fury party. I think that's the title of a song. Ain't no party like a Star Fury party.
Nicholas Scott is willing to do the drums.
Oh, excellent. Of course.
We could probably get we could get Mark Shepard to do the drums as well.
No, we'll have to pay him. And I would rather have Nicholas. Anyway, don't tell him I said that.
Okay.
The con songs. I remember Sass says she's a good banger. I remember the first
Sass
time
certainly is.
Robert and I truly became friends at a con. It was because he was out there on the floor and he was doing this rowing. What is this one where you tap, tap, tap?
Trying to remember which one.
Forward, back.
Yeah. Oh, that's is that I know for Hawaii 5-0 they get on the floor and do all
I gotta say that is the lowest intrigue of all of the line dances. Not only do you sit in one place, which is very good for making sure everybody can join in, but you're sitting on the floor and you just sort of tap here, you tap there. You don't even. You got to come to Austin, Texas, and learn some of them line dances. They're crazy. Upside Your Head. Everybody wants me to do a cover of Upside Your Head.
Okay. I'll just, you have got, my goodness. Yeah, you got 5 requests for that there.
Living on a Chair. Oh, wait, Jeff Clark. Come on, shout out Jeff Clark. All right, you
got a request for 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know who
Bo Rap, is that something to do with Bo Selector? We are not doing anything related to Bo Selector. Happy New Year from the Netherlands. Thank you, Mike.
Happy Netherlands. I'm just going to go back through the comments to see what else. Oh, man, we got a lot of people weighing in on this. I'm so happy everybody's here. I mean, I know there's a lot of dumb stuff that you can do on your New Year's Eve. I'm really glad you chose this dumb thing. Right?
Yep.
Oh, Liz. Oh, my darling. I am so glad to see you again. Your exploits go far and wide. Every time. Happy New Year, Liz, my darling. Oh, you know what? We're gonna tell my old friend Liz, because you know what? I got to tell you, nothing will tell you about the march of time faster than this totally awesome rad chick who fucking like is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen running out of that Star Fury. So, Liz, my dear, Sean Harry, and I know you've never wanted this to happen. Sean Harry is going to channel your spirit, and he is going to give you.
Stop.
Woo! Yves Klein. Yves Klein. This is you, my love. All right, let's see. Learn. I want you to look him up. Yves Klein is your 2021. Learn everything from nothing. Include yourself in your list of materials. I'm totally on board with that. And enroll in a judo class. It's written right there. That's a good one. We need to learn about Yves Klein.
Just checking my phone. I've just had an email from Miracle.
Oh, how Miracle. Can she
just
join
wishing us a happy new year. And just to as a hopeful, keep our fingers crossed. Everybody, she's going to let me know on Monday. But if she's free, Miracle's going to do a live chat with me next Friday.
Oh, that would be awesome. Because you know what?
Yeah.
Miracle is the center of the universe.
Have you met Eve at one of my events yet? I don't think you've met Eve, have you?
It's very difficult to know. While I'm standing in my
apartment. Welsh lady. Welsh force of nature.
Welsh force of nature.
Yeah, I think that you and Eve would get on very well.
Okay.
Yeah. You've met Kai. I know you've done an event in Ireland with Kai Owen.
Yes, and indeed I have.
Yeah. But I kind of feel we need, that's something that I haven't done that I need to correct. We need you and Eve at an event together.
I agree. You know what? I also love when we get away from Heathrow. Heathrow is the easiest place for everybody to go. Probably
everybody loves everybody. My only issue, if I've actually said this to the management of Renaissance, that I would put every event there. For me, it's the easiest venue to use. The staff, the location, just the whole ambience. My only problem with the Renaissance is you can only put up to 600 people in there. So if I've got a big event like the Lucifer event or something like that, I have to go somewhere else. But the Renaissance is my favorite. Although when I last had a meeting with them there, and I don't know if they've done anything about this, and this was last year, but they were actually talking about gutting the entire basement area, where we have the green room, getting rid of all of that and putting a hall in there that would hold 1,000 people.
Like a pool?
No, a hall.
Have our events
a gigantic hall in the basement, so then I could keep all my events at the Renaissance.
That's awesome. That sounds so great. Okay.
Whether they actually get round to doing that, I don't know. Especially as the hotels are going to be pretty.
They've had a year to do it. They've had a year with no guests. Why don't they get on that?
Oh, what's it? Just let everybody know. When I last spoke to the Hilton, they're refurbishing all. They're taking this downtime while the Hilton Birmingham is shut. They're refurbishing all the hotel rooms.
Oh, very nice. Oh, wait. I think we should take a moment and raise a glass to the Thistle.
I haven't been in the Thistle in like a decade.
I miss the Thistle. That's hard to say.
I haven't been there in a decade.
I think it's probably for the best.
Yeah. They had a change in management and I found better venues.
I'm guessing that Heathrow is the easiest for absolutely everybody to attend. But
Yeah.
I'm curious if, for instance, Sean was going to throw an event in New York, weigh in.
How much would New York cost?
Did you see him almost poop himself?
I was just thinking of the costs of doing an event in New York.
Yeah, that's just to you, to say nothing about, the number
That
of people.
said, though, if you had a pile of the actors living in New York, I could save on flights for the actors.
And you could all come hang out here in my apartment.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? Let's take a tour.
When this is done, I've only ever been to New York once. What happened there? We can't hear you, Jonathan. It's gone kind of weird. We can't hear you, Jonathan. Can you hear me? We still can't hear you. Well, B. Wilson would like a convention in New York. Helen O'Hara would like to visit New York. Rari, yes, I've done 2 conventions in LA, and having done 2 conventions in LA, I will never do another convention in LA. That I can guarantee. We still can't hear you. Wait a second. Oh, he's disappeared. Well, just have to see what happens there. Is Jonathan going to log back in? I think he's doing the IT crowd technique of log out, log back in. Now that Jonathan's gone, you can see my Doctor Doom statues behind me. You can also see some of the artwork that I own on the walls, and some of the Funko Pops I have behind me. Is Jonathan coming back? I'll text him. Somebody asked if I lost my... reason my beard's grown out is that I usually go to a barber to have my beard trimmed, and I haven't been to a barber since February. Okay, somebody wants to know, what was my favorite Evercon to run? As a fanboy, Jonathan's texted me back. He's going to trying to log back in. As a fanboy, probably my favorite Evercon were my Doctor Who cons, because Doctor Who's my favorite show. I was a huge fanboy on this. On some of probably the most fun events to run, the last few Ultimates, the Lost Girl, running the Lost Girl events were a lot of fun because of the casts were really nice to work with, and the Torchwood casts were really nice to work with, and any Angel convention. The Angel conventions, I really enjoy those because the cast of Angel are like family to me. Really got on with all of those. Those were lots of fun. But as a fan, I was a huge fan of Doctor Who, so I love doing a Doctor Who convention. And the last few Ultimates were a lot of fun. Jonathan's texting me again. He's saying, help. Okay. Oh, the link's not working for him. Just checking. Jonathan's texting me, where's Joe? But Joe is watching Sabrina right now. Seeing what we can do. I really used to enjoy the Xena conventions as well. And the great things about the Xenacons, some of the cons I like the most is where the actors behind the scenes are really chill and easy to work with. And I really like it when you've got guests who genuinely enjoy being at the convention and ones who go to the parties and hang out. And that was used to be great at the Xena conventions. Ted Raimi, Hudson Like, you'd always guarantee that they were, and Timothy Omundson, you'd always guarantee they would go to the party and hang out with the fans and be at the bar and then be at the disco. And a really great thing, a lot of the attendees aren't kind of aware of this, but two guests who are absolutely brilliant are J. August Richards and Chris Holden Reed. Because as soon as the fancy dress has finished, they tell all the other guests that they have to spend time at the disco. They kind of like make them. So you suddenly have, when you've got Chris Holden Reed at an event or J. August Richards at an event, they try and make sure that all the guests go to the disco and hang out with all. So it really makes things that much more exciting. Somebody just mentioned Battlestar Galactica. That was one of my favorite shows. And it was, oh, wait a second. Just be. Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, Sean.
How are you doing there, Jonathan?
I'm not really entirely sure. I thought it would be fun to unplug my laptop from the external monitor and take everybody on a tour, and it completely destroyed the connection. And I, for some reason, the link that Sean sent me, they won't let me back in. I think they've been monitoring, obviously.
Oh, dear.
Destinations. Sean, do you have an opportunity to invite somebody to your StreamYard from where you are?
I'd probably need Joe to explain that to me. I'll just see. Can I invite somebody? I'll invite.
We have so many more.
Here we go. Sending you a new link.
There you go. Yeah, send me a new link. Sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It would be fun to wander my pitiful apartment.
I just sent you a new link. You see, that's the great thing about when you do something live, crazy shit like this happens.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Sean Harry, StreamYard, enter your entry. The broadcast studio. Audio. I am going to select the microphone.
Yep.
And speaker. Sorry, this is. And enter.
Here we go. There we go. We have you back now.
Oh my gosh, we made it! Holy cow, that was
really terrifying for a few minutes.
It really was. I think I sweat buckets right then. That was horrible. Oh my gosh, is everybody still with us? Did everybody go home?
Yeah, we still got a number of people still here.
I mean, whatever. What else is we're supposed to? We've got a quiz in a half an hour, right?
Yeah, I've got a Star Wars quiz all set up.
Oh, fantastic! I'm sure I'll do as terribly. Oh my god, I hate Zoom for one thing is that I constantly do this. I will do probably as well as I did in the last time that I joined one of your quizzes, which is
the sixth round. There's 6 rounds, and the final round was probably my most favorite video quiz to do so far, because for the final round you have to guess the films that are Star Wars rip-offs. And rewatching all these low-budget kind of like Star Wars cash-ins from the 70s was actually a lot of fun.
Great idea. I love that. Nicola asked if I was going through a costume change during my interregnum. And
well, I have. We discussed this when you last came on the live stream, and I'm getting it sorted out for you. I'm sorting you out for your next Star Fury you're at. We're getting you in cosplay.
Ooh, it's Steve Zissou, right?
It is. You remembered.
I totally remembered, because you know what? There is no better choice. It's absolutely. I'm gonna do the thing where I unplug my monitor again. Let's see what happens.
It works. You still there?
Are you there, Sean?
Yes, and we can hear you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but
we made it. What a relief. Okay. Well, for number one, yes, Steve Zissou. I mean, Steve Zissou is where it's at. It's my guy. It's sort of like it's my spirit animal.
Yeah.
What got me through pandemic? All of the people in my life just show up on that screen, and it's wonderful. It's so nice. And then I think everybody's probably noticed by now, but the hoof. The hoof has made an appearance.
Yes.
There's the Christmas tree, which I hadn't lit because I didn't think I would be taking everybody on a little tour. My cousin gave me these. I made my own ice.
Oh. Well, your new apartment's a lot bigger than when I last crashed with you.
Do you remember? That's unkind, Sean. That was a long time ago.
Do you remember when we went to the theater to see Morena?
I do. We went, and everybody, I'm not sure everybody can really appreciate like the devotion that we showed to Morena by getting on the PATH train and going all the way to New Jersey.
Yep.
That was a lot of work. And I saw Morena a couple of years ago, and I've got to say, I might have slightly, ever so slightly, embarrassed myself by just being so excited to meet Morena. I mean, she was on Deadpool. She did V. She did like a billion things. I mean, I don't see a lot of Morena, but I gotta say, I love everything Morena does. She's so cool. She's so chill. She's so dry. She's an awesome actor, and I dig her. And I was a little flustered when I saw her again, finally, at last. And I saw Alan Tudyk recently. And I gotta say, my memory of what running into Alan Tudyk is that he recognized who I was and greeted me like a person he knew.
Well, it was great. I actually bumped into Alan in Oxford Street a few years back. I think he was filming Rogue One at the time, and I went up to him and said, "Hey, Alan, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm Sean. You did your first convention with me." And we spoke for about 10 minutes. And then at the end of the conversation, it was only then he realized you could tell it had taken like 10 minutes to actually work out who I was.
I mean, it's only fair, right? I mean, that guy, of all of the people, of anything that I've done, like Alan is definitely in the league of the most famous and the ones that I am the most admirative of, because his comedic timing rivals any human I've ever met. He's one of the funniest guys. He's an exceptional actor. And he was in Spamalot, which was another Mike Nichols film. And he and I, at the very end, I could always just sort of like revert to talking about Mike Nichols, because eventually you run out of subjects to talk about with somebody you don't know.
I'm wondering who we could say who did a Star Fury and then went on to be the most famous. It would probably have to be Jeremy Renner.
I was going to say it's got to be Renner, right? But I'm going to vote Alan Tudyk more because of the voiceover work that he does.
You've got Alan Tudyk, and Morena and Christina have gone on to really big things.
Yep, Christina.
And I think probably the biggest guests who were the biggest in terms of who they were when I booked them would probably be Benedict Cumberbatch and Kristen Ritter and Carrie-Anne Moss.
Well, there's also Mads. Let's not forget Mads.
Oh, Mads, of course. Good Jesus, yeah, of course, Mads.
Right? I mean, I heard an interview with Mads just recently, and I was like, yeah, that's why he's
He's an astonishing badass, that guy.
He's one of the most down-to-earth people you will. I mean, there is not, and I mean this in the most polite and respectful way, but there is not one atom of him that is celebrity or star. He's just so incredibly. If you didn't know he was an actor, if you didn't know he was appearing in films, you'd never guess. There's no ego. He's just very down-to-earth. And most people here might not know this. Jonathan attended 2 of my Hannibal events.
It's true.
Jonathan was in the UK, popped along to the Hannibal event, and at one of them, you hosted the fancy dress. And do you remember when you came on stage to host the fancy dress with me?
Yeah.
And it was like tumbleweed was blowing across the.
It's okay. It's okay. You know, there's not a lot of crossover. I totally get it. But yes, it was a different experience. Also very humbling. Everybody should have that experience. Here's Jonathan Woodward. Yes, you don't know me. That's cool. That's fine. Because who am I anyway?
It was actually also a bit like, you weren't there for this, but do you remember when I used to have Neil Roberts MC some of my conventions?
Yeah.
And he had done a good job on some of my Angel and some of my Firefly ones. And I was doing an L Word event, and he came along and he MC'd at the L Word event. And I swear to God, every time he came on stage, it was like the tumbleweed was just, it didn't matter what he said. The audience was like, he's a man, get him off stage.
Oh, come on. People would have thought that about Neil, no matter who they were. Don't tell them I said that. Neil is actually one of my favorite things about all of your events is that Neil and I have become very, very, very close. You know, even event or no event, I call 2 people when I come to England to see my son, and it's you and it's Neil.
Yeah. Well, we saw Neil together. What was it? About 2 years ago, we went to see him in theater.
We saw a production of the theatrical exploration of the film Rain Man, starring the kid who was in the movie Aragon about the dragon.
Well, you know the guy who starred in it from Aragon, Ed Slears? He ended up doing a convention for me 6 months later.
Get out, really?
Yeah. He came to my Outlander convention.
What a champ. I got to watch this Outlander business.
It's a good show. Good show.
My only exposure to Outlander is my stepmother reading it and being like, I don't understand. They're going between timelines. It's very confusing. Am I supposed to be reading this thinking this one thing, or am I supposed to be thinking this other thing? And right there, you sort of saw somebody truly encountering the idea of fantasy fiction where, things don't happen in a straight line. She reads a lot of thrillers where the detective goes straight down the row.
Right. Rari Burt has asked, who would be your dream Star Fury guest? Who would be your
mine or Sean's?
Well, but let's see who yours is first.
No, I want a second to think about it. You go first.
Winona Ryder. I thought that was
a good answer. That was a very, very good answer.
Yeah. People want to put in the comment section who your dream convention guest would be. I've had long conversations with Winona's manager about it, but it's not been possible so far.
I really
but
want
if I had Winona as a guest, I could stop running events because I wouldn't be able to top that.
She's pretty good. Who would I be super, super like jelly in the knees to talk to? I think that's the question.
Rari Burt has put his dream guest would be Katie McGrath. And if you ever look on Rari Burt's timeline on Facebook, you'll be absolutely shocked by that. Owen Boyle wants to see Brian Blessed. I could probably do Brian Blessed for you right now.
Yep. Ooh, Pedro Pascal.
Alive! Raphael.
I went to school.
My God, Michael Ironside. I'd love to see Michael Ironside. Somebody's asked for Pedro Pascal. I'd love to do a Mandalorian convention, but I can't afford it. Jake Gyllenhaal.
You don't know. I was in plays with Pedro.
I know that. You used to be at college with him.
I went to school with him. We were in plays together. he was a very deeply interesting and strange individual. He was definitely on another frequency, and I am super in love with. You know what? He's my pick. I want to see Pedro Pascal as well, for sure.
Well, if I ever do get around to doing a Mandalorian convention, it's one of those shows where I look at it and I go, I'd like to do an event around it. I can't afford to do an event around it.
I mean, all right.
If I did, I'd get you along to help MC it.
Oh my God. Would you really?
Yeah.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do some lines from Troilus and Crescent. We won't. I would be so psyched. And by the way, Sean, you're going to be back in hotels again. We're all going to be back in hotels again. And it doesn't need to be a Mandalorian. It can be a Game of Thrones. It can be Wonder Woman 1984, because I was just watching that last night. Pedro's amazing. It could be Narcos. Pedro has done like some amazing motherfucking work this year and last year and the year before that. And I am so deeply psyched for my friend. He is probably the most famous guy I came up with. Before that, it was a guy named Steve Rosen who was in Spamalot. Aw, Owen wants to see me again. What a sweetie.
Karen Gillan, yes, I have been trying. Ryan Reynolds, can't see my wallet going that far.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is, Chelsea, Ryan Reynolds, I would love it. Seriously? Fuck off, too. Okay, I think Harminder is actually asking an important question.
Yeah.
What's up with 1984, The Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, have you not? Everybody else has, right? Ooh,
yeah.
Darren is actually talking about Patrick Stewart. I think that's a pretty good idea, too. No? Woo! Did you see?
No, I've seen him at other events. He's very good.
All right. Let's give Patrick Stewart his 2021 fortune.
Make it so.
Oh, wait, you got to do it again because there was a double lead.
I was trying to do
really concentrate.
Stop.
Oh, this is actually perfect. This is as perfect as it can get. He got Marcel Duchamp. Marcel Duchamp was famous, of course, for taking your urinal and hanging it, back when nobody had ever done that sort of thing before, hanging it in a museum. And for Patrick Stewart, we can stay scandal before stardom, baby. Making it look easy is super hard. And may your bathroom humor leave a serious legacy. And I think that's absolutely true. If anybody has watched the Graham Norton show where Patrick Stewart has to describe about how he didn't know he was uncircumcised for, I think, 70 years of his life.
Somebody's asked me if I would do a Cobra Kai con. I'm sorry, Jack, but that's a no on that one.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, would be a lot of fun. I can't see him showing up to anything less than a stadium, though.
I can see myself affording that on a Star Fury budget.
Ah, come on, Sean. Don't knock our people. Our fans are,
There's nothing to do with it. It's I keep stuff within a certain price range, and I won't. Somebody's saying about Preacher. Preacher is one of my all-time favorite comic books. And I watched one episode of the TV series, and I was so horrified for it, I can't watch it again.
Okay, I'm getting a couple of good suggestions earlier in the feed. David
Life
Hasselhoff
Force is a great film. David Hasselhoff, he'd be
Harrison Ford, Simon Pegg would be wonderful, and
I could really see Harrison Ford doing a convention.
Right. Because he loves to come out of his helicopter. The cast of The Boys, that would be fun. But these are dream guests. Don't forget, they're dream guests.
Oh, yeah. Claire, I actually was in talks. Claire's asked for Ruth Negga. I was in talks for her to do an Ultimates, and it nearly happened. She wanted to attend. She's good friends with Deitch and Lackman, but She was filming at the time, so
I think Ruth Negga is an amazing actress. She is awesome.
She's one I might be able to get. I worry that she's one of those ones whose career is taking off so much it's unlikely, but at the same time she's been recommended to do my conventions. So
I
there's
have
a
that
good
problem
chance I might have her in. You'd be amazed when somebody's career's taking off. Sometimes you can't get to them through their manager, but if there's an actor who's done my events who knows them, that can make all the difference. Oh, get Donald Trump for an event, a Home Alone convention.
Yeah, he'll be working for it pretty soon.
I used to be friends with, I'm trying to remember his name now. God, he used to be a friend. I can't remember his name. The dad from Home Alone. God.
Bill
Why
Pullman.
can't I remember his name? Huh? Not Bill Pullman.
Yes, John Hurd.
John Hurd, that's it. John Hurd was Keith Sarabaika's best friend.
Really?
So every time I was in Los Angeles, whenever I go to stay in LA, I stay at Keith Sarabaika's house. And I actually have stayed one time in Jonathan's house when I went to LA as well. Do you remember that?
Hello.
Yeah. But I stay with, and John Hurd used to come round pretty much every other day. And funny story, this was about 10 years ago. Do you remember Danielle Harris from when you did Decalogy?
Of course. She, lovely lady.
Yeah. When I went to LA after Decalogy, Danielle invited me to Jensen Ackles' birthday party.
Oh, how lovely.
So me and Keith went together and we brought John Hurd with us. We said, can we bring John Hurd? And then when we get to his party, it turns out that Jensen Ackles' favorite film of all time is Home Alone. And he totally fanboys out over John Hurd.
Really?
And actually Jensen was under the belief that I knew it was his favorite film and I'd done it as a birthday surprise for him. And he kept saying to me, this is the best birthday gift I've ever had.
Well, don't knock him off that one.
Somebody said about Jennifer Hale. Mass Effect is one of my favorite games, so I'd love to get Jennifer Hale along. Michael Wright asked about Jennifer Connelly. I would die if we had. She's probably in my top 5 with Winona Ryder of people I'd love to work with. Somebody said William Dafoe would be fantastic. I think William Dafoe would be
great.
Amazing.
How would that be?
I think you need William Dafoe and Jeff Goldblum together at a convention. I think they would be perfect for a Star Fury event. Somebody has asked me, would I do another Doctor Who or Torchwood event? I may do another Torchwood event in the future. Doctor Who events are just too. I need a doctor, and they're too expensive now.
Well, leaving all of the dollar figures aside, I was just curious. I mean, 2020 was a shit show year,
Yeah.
and I myself, I am deeply looking forward to moving on. But it's a thing that everybody does, is to remember the fallen, remember the people that we lost this year. And I just did a quick search, and it was a hard year. Chadwick Boseman, Patrick Dennehy, Sean Connery. There were some Stan Lee. There were some Titans that we lost this year. And I want everybody to throw one of the ones that they really felt strongly about into the feed, because I know I didn't have the bandwidth to even really be sad about a lot of the ones.
I think Chadwick Boseman was the most painful to hear of their death, because somebody like as heartbreaking as it was to lose, say, Sean Connery, he had his career, whereas Chadwick Boseman, you felt he still had. It was a bit like Firefly. There was so much potential. You felt this guy could have gone on and done some fantastic stuff. And he'd been robbed before he'd had his time.
I mean, it's a guy named Wilford Brimley, which he was a famous American. Later years, he was famous for being the guy of the Quaker Oats commercials. But Sean Connery. Gosh.
Now, Jonathan, I'm going to have to
That's
cut you
okay.
off. I'm afraid we're going to have to
is it
cut you off
time?
now because I'm going to be starting a quiz in 10 minutes. So I have to start setting that up. We have our Star
All right.
Wars.
How do I join the quiz, buddy?
I'll send you an invite in a few minutes.
I just meant for everybody who's on this feed, who has actually stayed on this feed, but doesn't know about how to get on touch with the quiz. How do you do it?
They just stay on the Facebook page. This gives them a 10-minute break to go to the toilet.
Thank God.
Then we can, but I'll bring this to an end now. But Jonathan, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been great seeing you. We'll definitely bring you over for the
one more real quick one. This is for Star Fury in 2021.
Stop.
You get William Blake.
Oh, the Red Dragon.
For certain, hell is hypocrisy on earth. Vision requires not sight, but spirit. Madness in life, genius in death. Sean Harry, I would like to say I am so grateful for being here at Destiny 2020, and I will see you in the new year.
Absolutely. You take care. Love to you and all your family, Jonathan. We'll see you over here in the UK soon.
Okay, buddy.
I hope you had a good Christmas and have a very happy new year.
I love you very much. Goodbye.